Thanks for stopping by. This is Ars Poetic and I'm just a dude who really loves to play video games. This video is part of a larger full-length review that I created. If you want to check that out, the link will be in the description. Let's get to the video. But for now, let's start off with the standoff mechanic. When you encounter a group of enemies out in the open world, the game does an interesting thing here, often giving you the option to challenge enemies to a standoff. When you do this, you are essentially challenging an enemy to a duel. Both of you readying your weapons, taking your stances, and waiting for the right moment to strike. As you progress through the game and earn technique points, you will be able to spend them on upgrading this standoff, allowing you to take out multiple enemies as they rush in to strike you one by one. If you fail to time your strike just right, you'll take a near fatal blow and combat will begin. One of the first things you might notice during combat is the lack of a lock-on targeting system. What you have here is directional targeting, in that your attacks will land whichever direction you have your character facing. You will sort of automatically strafe and circle around the target you are focused on within a certain distance. I actually feel that this was the right decision to make. Most of the time you will be fighting multiple enemies, and so once you have the directional targeting down, I feel like it becomes much more fluid to slice up your foes and parry or dodge incoming attacks from all directions. However, with the recent Director's Cut upgrade, the Sucker Punch devs have added a lock-on targeting option in the menu. You can activate and deactivate this lock-on targeting by pressing up on the D-pad. To be honest, I spent some time messing around with this and I personally felt I was better off playing without it. That may be because I'm already used to the standard targeting system, but I really do think fighting groups of enemies is just better without lock-on. However, I do think it functions very well for one-on-one battles. I think it's awesome that they threw this feature in there post-launch, and I encourage people to experiment and find what makes the combat more fun for them. During combat, certain enemy attacks will have a blue or orange glint to them. Orange indicates an unblockable attack that you'll want to dodge, whereas a blue glint means that the attack is not only blockable, but that you can parry it. If you time it right and get a perfect parry, that'll make time slow down for a quick second, allowing you to get a good attack on the target. You could even dodge in place of parrying, and if done at the right time, you'll still get that slowdown effect while your opponent is wide open for an attack. Note that even regular attacks with no visible glint can still be parried with the same slow-mo effect, when timed correctly. There are 4 fighting stances you can use in the game, with each one being effective towards a particular enemy type. The default stance you will have from the beginning is the stone stance, which is perfect for swordsmen. The water stance is ideal for enemies that have shields, wind stance being great for polearm fighters, and the moon stance being what you want to use for those big heavy dudes. If you play with the default HUD, you'll notice that each enemy has a short meter above them, which is essentially a posture or a stagger meter. Your attacks will fill up this meter, and when full, it will break, staggering the enemy and stunning them for a couple of seconds. Correctly switching sword stances to counter enemy types will greatly increase the effectiveness of your stagger damage. You could disregard this and still land blows without staggering enemies or switching to appropriate stances, but this will make fighting groups much harder. These little golden orbs on the HUD above your health bar represent your resolve. You'll build these up through combat and can use them to heal yourself. The way they explain this mechanic in the lore is that you're using your resolve to fight through the pain, gaining a second wind of sorts. You can also combine your resolve and use them to perform a couple of special moves. In addition to your trusty katana, you will have a few other weapons at your disposal. These include bows and arrows, a blowgun, kunai, sticky bombs, smoke bombs, and incendiary oil. Your half bow can use either regular arrows or flaming arrows, while your long bow can be paired with heavy arrows or explosive arrows. There is a concentration mode that you can use with either bow, which will slow down time while you're aiming. I recommend unlocking and leveling that up early on, as it makes using the bow much more effective in the middle of combat. These all can add a decent amount of variety to the combat and can even save your ass when you need to turn the tide of battle. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it in any way, check out my other video clips from this review in the linked playlist, or even watch the entire review if you'd like. Peace.